Hey toy fans, I'm D21Beast and welcome back to my figure review series here on my YouTube channel. And today we're taking a look at the Marvel Select Juggernaut released by Diamond Select. Now if you've been following my channel for a while, you may remember that I actually got this Juggernaut figure a couple months back in a package that was sent to me from my friend Jeff. He had surprised me with the Colossus Marvel Select figure, which I've already reviewed, and then I got this Juggernaut figure that you see here. Juggernaut's actually my favorite X-Men villain, and while I have put this guy off for a couple of months, I am actually really excited to check this guy out outside of the packaging. So let's go ahead and get things started by taking a look at the packaging for this figure. As you come down the front of this box, you do have the Marvel Select logo in the upper left, followed by the name for the figure down the left-hand side of the package. You've got a very large blister bubble that does house the Juggernaut figure inside, as well as his accessory, and then there is actually an additional image of Juggernaut placed on the bubble there towards the bottom. As we flip this package around, you do have some artwork for Juggernaut, and then coming down the back of the packaging, we do have the bio for the figure. Go ahead and slow down to read that. You got an image for Juggernaut there off towards the right, and then you do have some other figures available in the wave there towards the bottom, followed by an image of the variant of this figure, the unmasked Juggernaut. Alright guys, so that's the packaging. Let's say we get this unstoppable brute out of the box and see what he's all about. Alright toy fans, so here we have Juggernaut out of the packaging, and this figure is absolutely massive. A ton of plastic went into this guy. I'm pretty sure this figure is the reason gas prices have gone up in the last year. Now my first exposure to Juggernaut was actually the X-Men 1992 animated series, and much like the Colossus Marvel Select figure I've already reviewed, and actually, by an amazing coincidence, or maybe not, Colossus was in that same episode that I first saw Juggernaut in. But of course, Juggernaut actually appeared first in X-Men issue number 12, and in every incarnation of this character, he has been this massive, hulking brute of a character. And I definitely think that Diamond Select got the sculpt right on this guy, or more specifically, Gentle Giant, as the back of the package says. They definitely got the sculpt down on this guy. He is massive, he's very textured, very muscular. He's really an amazing looking figure. He does tend to be a little bit back heavy. I had a bit of difficulty getting him to stand up, but once I've got him standing here, he looks just phenomenal. Let's go ahead and take a look at this figure up close, and bear with me here as I adjust my lights at the same time. This Juggernaut figure has got all of this textured detail here on his costume, as you can see. He's got some texturing on his arms that kind of give this sort of skin tone, and there's sort of a flesh-colored wash on the arms. You can even see some veins here sculpted in. He's got all this detail here on the bands on his arms. As we come down the figure, you can see that he's got wrinkles in his trunks here. More sculpted detail on the legs, a black wash going down on the legs and on the torso of the figure. His boots have a black wash on them and tons of sculpted detail. Even the bottom of his boots are sculpted really nicely, but there's no peg hole. But man, look at all those treads sculpted into the bottom of the shoes. And as we flip this guy around, you're going to see all that attention to detail is still present here on the back of the figure. And we even have the lines sculpted into the costume that are traditional with the Juggernaut outfit here on the abdomen. So really, a really nice looking figure. There's even a bit of sculpted detail here on the mask to kind of show a furrowed brow, which is kind of funny considering that his skin isn't normally like right up against the metal. But then, I should also mention that unlike previous Juggernaut figures, at least most of the ones I've ever had, his helmet doesn't come off. It is permanently attached on there. I guess Diamond went ahead and did that variant without the helmet, just so we could get both versions of the figure if he wanted to. But I am definitely very happy with the look of this figure. Juggernaut comes packed in with this really nice display stand. I mean, look at all the detail there with the smashed cars, the building, the rubble, the clouds, the skull there even off to the right. All of it looks really nice, but there's one major problem with this thing. It is very tiny. I don't know why Juggernaut's got such a small display base. I mean, I guess because the figure is so big himself, Diamond wanted to give us something to go with it, and they figured, well, all we can really afford at this point is a postcard to pack in with Juggernaut. So they went ahead and gave us that. It's cute, but I don't think it works with this Marvel Select figure. It actually probably works better with the Superhero Squad Juggernaut. So if you got him, go for it. Also, the back of this card features different artwork that seems to be sort of a sunrise or sun coming through the clouds. Maybe it's an explosion, but that's everything he's got. Honestly, while it was still in the packaging, I thought the base of this display stand was actually some sort of steel girder for the Juggernaut to hold. Man, I sure did miss the mark there. I suppose Diamond could have just packaged Juggernaut in all by his lonesome. I'm glad they at least attempted something. Articulation is probably the weakest thing about this Juggernaut figure, but he is a massive figure, so I am keeping that in mind. His head, however, will only rotate left and right. It does bend back ever so slightly, and then down. He's got a full rotation here at the shoulder, as well as a bicep rotation. Single jointed elbow that bends in that far and out that far. There is no wrist rotation or finger articulation. I do wish he had that. He's got the same articulation here on the other arm. There is no waist articulation, and in lieu of that, he's got a diaphragm that'll rotate left and right. It does not bend forward or back at all. He's got a ball-jointed hip that'll rotate forward that far, rotate back only about that far. It does have a full rotation because it's a ball joint. He then has a single-jointed knee that does bend back that far and forward that far. There is a ratchet in that. And then he has no actual boot cut rotation of any kind. Then his foot will bend forward barely that far, bends back not really at all, and then he's got an ankle pivot that'll rotate that way and that way. So that completes it for his articulation. Like I said, he's a very large figure, so he's missing a few points of articulation, and he is a bit difficult to stand because of the limitations in his articulation. So overall, the posability of this figure is going to be a bit limited. Height-wise, we can see that Marvel Select Juggernaut does stand just a bit over 8.5 inches tall. For some size comparison, here he is compared to the Marvel Select Colossus figure, and the Marvel Select Doctor Doom. Here he is compared to the Marvel Legends Juggernaut figure, and Masters Juggernaut, and Hero Squad Juggernaut, and just for fun, even the first Mini-Mates Juggernaut figure that was released. And finally, here he is compared to the 6-inch scale Marvel Legends Infinite Series Wolverine.
Yeah! Man, you're huge! Ho ho! Thanks, Tiny!
Alright, toy fans, well that's my review of the Marvel Select Juggernaut figure released by Diamond Select. Overall, this is an incredible figure, and he's incredibly huge. There's a lot of great detail and paintwork on this guy, but he does suffer a little bit in the articulation department. But if you line him up with any of your other Select figures, he's gonna look great. And because he's Juggernaut, and his size varies depending on which artist you've got, he actually could probably fit in with your Marvel Legends figures, even if he does seem a bit big. So I do encourage you guys to check this figure out. Thanks again to Jeff for picking up this figure for me. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you like what you saw here, please feel free to rate, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.